Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back. I am your friendly neighborhood PM here to give you your top 3 points of the week, as always. Now, before we get into those top 3 points of the week on what's been a very choppy market week, I'm going to give you your most important news update of the week, which is how my fantasy football team did last week. I'm happy to report we increased our record to 1-1, and we are looking good for week 3 with Deebo Samuel blowing up on Thursday Night Football. But all joking aside, let's get to your most important parts. So, at point number 3 is Apple releasing the iPhone 15 for sale this past week. It has now gone on sale across 40 different countries. And so far, the iPhone 15 Pro has seen really strong demand as, we've seen consumers lining up out the door to go ahead and buy it, or if not, pre-order it. Now, the iPhone sales are going to be a very key piece to Apple's growth, especially over this next quarter and heading into the holiday season. So we're going to keep our eyes peeled to really see how that demand drives it across all different models that they've gone ahead and released. At point number 2, it is the UAW, the United Auto Workers labor union strike, continuing on now over the better part of a week. What we have heard is that they are extending the scope of their strikes at both GM and Stellantis across a variety of new facilities, including their parts distribution facilities. So expect supply chain issues to kind of worsen, especially for those two companies, as more and more parts will probably be ending up on back order for service adjustments as well. Now, they have not gone ahead and expanded that scope at Ford because Ford has made some reasonable progress with the labor union as to negotiations on the contract disputes. So they are kind of making their way towards a resolution, at least with Ford, but GM and Stellantis, we are still waiting to be seen on that front. Now, finally, point number 1, it's usually kind of the main point each time that this one comes up, but it was the Fed's rate decision on Wednesday. They went ahead and paused this most recent meeting. They did not increase rates. Now, one thing that kind of sent markets on a downward spiral for that day, though, was the indication from a lot of the Fed committee members that they do expect another increase later this year. Only time will tell what meeting that is, whether that's November or December. But on top of that, they did lower their forecast for any rate cuts in the future in 24 and 25. Now, what that means is you kind of have to be prepped for higher interest rates for a longer period of time. So expect to see more progress on that, especially heading into the November meeting, because there's a lot of data between now and then. That pretty much does it for your top 3 points of this week. What are we looking forward to for next week? Well, predominantly, we're going to be keeping our eye on U.S. core PCE inflation. So that's the Fed's preferred inflation gauge. We've talked about that in the past. And then we are starting to get some earnings releases starting to come through. We'll probably see some from Costco and Nike as well and see just how strong that consumer is being. But otherwise, that pretty much does it for this week. That gets you ready for the weekend. Now, I don't want to hold up any more of your time. So if you have any additional questions, as always, reach out to your financial advisor or dig into the written weekend review. But otherwise, have a great weekend. We'll see you the same time next week. Thanks. Bye.